What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Hangout Spot, where you already know it's real talk, boxing talk, live from my man cave. It's your boy Johnny, and I'm your host for another edition of the Hangout Spot Live. This time on Thursday night, actually our first one in the 2025 year. So shout out to all my followers and my viewers for rocking out with me in 2024. 2025 is going to be even better. It's going to be even better. But hopefully everybody had a happy new year. And I wish everybody a happy, healthy, and prosperous 2025. And today we're going to do a little bit of reflecting, man. We got another great guest that's going to join us. And it was a good year in boxing. You know, it was a good year. I don't think it was a great year. And I'll explain why I mean that in just a little bit when I get my guests in there. But personally, for me, 2024 was a phenomenal year. I mean, I can't complain. I mean, the people that I have met, the growth that I have made, both with the channel and obviously in the boxing community, man, it's been absolutely insane, and I've been blessed. And I just want to shout out a couple of people. Number one, Four Corners Boxing, my people, my brothers, the Maniac, who I'm going to have out here in just a couple of minutes. I mean, they've been very, very influential, you know, in helping my growth. So shout out to them. And also want to give a shout out to Box Lab Promotions, Undisputed Promotions. I mean, Pro Box TV, Nesta Gibbs and the Boxing Voice, and the panel of co-hosts for showing me a lot of love this year and helping me grow and giving me opportunities that I hope we can take to the next level in 2025. That's what our goal is, to take the Hangout Spot to the next level. We made our mark in 24, 25. We got to take it above and beyond. But you know the deal. Before we get started, we got ground rules here. We got ground rules. If you are watching this live, make sure you smash that like button, as it will help with the visibility of the channel. The goal is to get this channel out there to other boxing fans out in YouTube so that they know that we are rocking out every Tuesday and Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you're watching the recording, make sure you press that like button as well. If you're watching us after the fact, if you have not subscribed to the Hangout Spot, make sure you do so. I don't know what you're waiting for. This is where it's at. And last but not least, the chat is going to be open. Free chat, super chats, we take it all. You're going to want to chime in on this conversation because, like I said, we're going to do a deep dive into the boxing year 2024. And then I'm going to provide my year in awards, as well as my boy, who I'm going to bring in right now. So without further ado, I want to bring in my brother. What's going on, man?
Johnny, you already know it's your boy, the Maniac. Listen, man, Happy New Year, man. First of all, don't be flexing on me with that Buckeye attire, man. You know, it's gold blue, baby. Big end, man. But listen, I can't say nothing. You guys, man, listen. I hate to admit it, man, but y'all might win it all, man. Y'all just look like a juggernaut right now, man, honestly.
Well, listen, if we win it all, I got to be honest. I think I owe a lot to the Michigan Wolverines, your Michigan Wolverines, because something happened in that game. I mean, we laid an absolute egg. You guys beat us. I wasn't expecting that. And I guess something triggered, man, because this team, since that Michigan loss, has looked different. So if we do win it all, you'll be the first one I'm going to reach out to say thank you, my brother. I appreciate you.
Don't listen. If I don't respond right away, don't take it personally. I'm just gonna be pissed about it. No, man. But yeah, man. You know, I was just listening to you in your introduction, man, and I want to say, first of all, thank you for shouting this out, man. Four Corners Boxing, man, but also you as well, man. You a person that we work close with. We understand that you're one of the, ones really growing in this boxing industry, and you've been putting in a lot of work, man. And you one of the hardest workers, man, out there right now. And then I know you just getting your feet wet, man. So I'm just happy for you, man. Continue to cook because you are apron certified. I told you once you come to New York, you will have your apron, my brother. I promise you that.
That means I arrived, man. I appreciate now, listen, I appreciate the kind words, but like I said, man, in order to succeed in this business, man, you got to surround yourself with good people, and that's what I feel that I have done so far. And again, growth is progress, right? So little by little, we'll try to take this to the next level. You're always going to be a part of the journey. You've been a constant on the channel, and now that I'm doing live shows, I definitely want to get you on more often because I love your takes. And this is the perfect topic that I thought that'd be the first time that I bring you on here on the live show because we want to go over 2024.
Yeah.
Indeed, and it was a good year. It was a good year. I wouldn't necessarily say it was great, and the reason why I say that is because yesterday I was watching you guys on your live show. Shout out to Four Corners every Wednesday night. They rocking out live on YouTube, so make sure you check them out and like and subscribe as well. But you asked the panel a question that was very, very intriguing to me. And you basically said to describe the 2024 year in boxing with one word. And I thought about it. And the first thing that came to my mind was, and I'm going to be a little hard, was underwhelming.
Mm.
It's not because of the fights that I did see, it's more because of the fights I didn't get to see in 2024. And to me, this continues to be a constant trend. We talked about it. We've had these conversations in the past where we're not getting the fights that we want to see when we want to see them. And then when we do
Correct.
get them, we get them three years late, we get them 4 years late. So there's just a ton of fights that I thought could have been made that weren't made. And that's why I'm kind of like underwhelming a bit. It left a lot to be desired, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it was a good year. I'm not going to
Yeah.
totally crap on it.
No, you're right, man. And the word I used was progress. I think we're progressing in the sport, But it's true. And I mentioned it. Look, Johnny, see, the thing with this sport is that boxing is where it's at, not because it lacks skill, it lacks talent, it lacks superstar potential. No, boxing has that. Boxing has a lot of superstars there in the brink of being superstars and even superstars. But like you said, we're just not getting the fights. And guess what happens? If you're not getting the fights that people want, bro, they're not going to be interested and they're not going to tune in. Hence why boxing is in the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to major sports. It never was the case. You're talking about the 80s, the 90s. My goodness, boxing was arguably the number one sport in the world. But now we have fallen, man, so deep, man, and it just sucks. Now, of course, it's still a popular sport because it's just boxing, but we're trying to get back to a place where we can, bump our chests on and say, yeah, we're number one. And there's a guy by the name of Turkey Al-Sheikh. So I love what he's doing. I know a lot of people, for some reason, it boggles my mind, Johnny, honestly, that some people don't like this guy. And they say he's bad for boxing and that, I don't know why people trust him. He has a motive. What motive does he have, Johnny? He's coming out his own pocket. He's making these fights happen. What motive? Come on, man. They piss me off, these boxing fans, Johnny, because come on, someone is here to help the sport. There's been a black eye that just won't go away. He finally has the crema, the cream to put that black eye away. And you saying, but why he's fixing this black eye? It's just ridiculous, man.
It's
It really is.
damned if you don't, Maniac. I mean, everybody's going to have an opinion, but I agree. I mean, I think he's been a godsend for boxing. I mean, he's a boxing fan that just wants to see the best guys fight the best. So he tries to put on those type of shows. The fact that he's also putting on cards and charging the public less than $30 to view on pay-per-view is, to me, is crazy. How could you not like that? You know what I'm saying? But we need more of that. And I think that you brought up a good point with the progress word, right? Before you walk, you got to crawl. And I think right now we're crawling. We're getting to the point where we're going to be walking and hopefully running very, very soon. Boxing with Chris. Happy New Year, my guys. Boxing with Chris, also my guy. Make sure you follow Boxing with Chris. Good dude. Great content as well. We got my man Yandu with a $2 super chat. Loving the content. 2025 will only be better. That's the goal, man. That's the goal. But keep rocking out with me, man. I appreciate the support. Manuel LG, my man from the Boxing Voice. What fights should have been made in 2024? I'll give you three right off the bat. David Benavidez against Canelo. That's a fight we all wanted to see that get made. I wanted to see Shakur Stevenson against Tank. Now with the whole rumors that Tank will be probably retiring, we probably will never see that fight. So that was another fight. Those are just two right off the bat that I would say we didn't see that we should have saw. So and as we get deeper into this conversation with recapping 2024, we will obviously touch a little bit on that before my man Yandu. If it wasn't for Turkey, we wouldn't have gotten Fury versus Usyk when we did. That's a very, very good point.
Thank you.
So again, I think underwhelming is what I say. Progress is a good word to put with that. But at the end of the day, I don't think that 2024 was bad. I just think that 2025 needs to be much better than
Agree. That's
2024 in order for this sport to
absolutely.
continue to grow. But what we wanted to do in this episode, Maniac, is we wanted to go over our year-end awards, and we had some dialogue about this. I've been seeing a lot of material on social media with a lot of different people giving their takes on it. So I wanted to get your take, and then I wanted to chime in on mine. We're going to cover Fighter of the Year, both male and female. Fight of the Year, which was tough for me because there weren't as many to choose from. You know what I mean? Like I really had to dig down deep to figure out what I thought my Fight of the Year was, and I went more with entertainment factor. KO of the Year, Trainer of the Year, and we're gonna do Prospect of the Year as well. But why don't we get right into it? Let's start with Prospect of the Year. Let's start with Prospect of the Year, right? Because you said something a little while ago, right? Boxing has a lot of talent, a lot of young talent specifically, and we've seen that young talent take that next step this year, namely Keyshawn Davis, who's now looking for the big fights. He's going into a title fight next. I keep thinking it's 2024. We're in 2025.
Yeah. I forgot.
Next month, right? Next month he'll be fighting in New York City against Dennis Barancek for his first title. He's been calling out Tank, so there's talent there, but there was also a lot of good young talent that we have not seen take that next step. So I want to get your take. Who do you have as the 2024 Prospect of the Year right now?
Yeah, man, I really think this is a no-brainer here, man. You got to go with Abdullah Mason, man, out of Ohio, man. You're talking about he had 5 fights this year, all by NyQuil. 5 fights, all by NyQuil. For those that are not familiar with the term, he put everybody to sleep. He knocked them out, stopped everybody. And in his last fight, we saw vulnerability in him, Johnny. We seen him get dropped twice in that fight, and then he gets up, he finishes opponent. So we did see some adversity from the young prospect too, right? Something you do like to see.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. And 2 things you want to see from prospects, right? You want to see progress and activity. You want to see them fighting a lot, and you want to see them getting better. And that's something Abdullah Mason has been doing. And I mean, he had a phenomenal year again, 5-0, 5 stoppages. He signed with Top Rank, heavy duty boxing company. So, he's getting a lot of airtime. And the dude is must-see TV, man. So, he's at lightweight. Lightweight right now is Keyshawn, Tank, Shakur, what's my man, Frank Martin. So it's a deep division. Now, I'm not saying he's ready for those kind of guys right this second, but I'm telling you right now, Johnny, by the end of this year, don't be surprised if Abdullah is fighting for a world title. But yes, he's my Prospect of the Year, Abdullah Mason.
Yeah, that's that's the popular choice, and I agree. It's the right choice. There were 2 other prospects that I wanted to call out, but you're right. Abdullah Mason, from a skill perspective, the fact that he did face adversity and he just mowed right through it by stopping his opponent, I thought that was more impressive. People crapped on it. I thought it was impressive, but he has 16 fights. So I guess my question to you is, when do we not consider a fighter a prospect? Is it because of the amount of fights, or is it because more of the quality of opponents?
So it's subjective. That's gonna be subjective when it comes. I mean, we seen fighters. We see Lomachenko in his second fight for a world title. Now, hence I get it. The extensive amateur background. Arguably one of the greatest amateurs of all time, 2-time gold medalist. Yada yada yada. But you see, Keyshawn has less fights than Abdullah, and he's already fighting for a world title. So this is what I'm saying. It's subjective. You know, some people would say, wait a minute, how this guy has less fights and he's fighting for a world title? So that means you're a contender at this point, opposed to a prospect. I think Abdullah still has a little more growing to do. You know, Top Rank is arguably the best at doing that, grooming these fighters. So it's really hard to give you a definitive answer when it comes to distinguishing when the fighter is a prospect or a contender. I think it's more of the eye, and sometimes we think they're ready and they're not. You know, so it's tough. That's a phenomenal question, man. Honestly, you know, it's hard to tell, man. But I don't think Abdullah. I say 2 more fights for him, and we'll see. But the competition, as long as the competition is increasing and getting better, then we can really see. But sometimes these promotional companies, Johnny, they want to put him in there. We're kind of the same kind of fighters, and it's just like, come on, man. At least put some guys in there that's gonna push these guys a little bit. So, you know, we'll see, man. But it's tough. Like I said, I don't think there's a real definitive answer. I mean, if someone in the chat feels they do, then you know, be my guest.
Yeah, I mean, that's always something that I've thought about, which is why I said I'm going to lean towards somebody else because I wanted to pick somebody with less fights. He's got 16 fights, but you're right. You brought up something that obviously now would have swayed me, you know, before my pick. But I'm going to stick to my pick because I guess most people are going with Mason, so I'm going to be a little bit different and maybe a little bit biased on this one. But mine's is Daniel Pero, the Fear. He's a young heavyweight. He's a Cuban young heavyweight, undefeated. He's 10-0 with 8 knockouts. He fought 5 times this year.
As
And
well.
I probably saw about 3 of those 5 fights live at the Caribbean Royale. He's trained by the great Bob Santos. And he's a heavyweight that moves like a welterweight, man. He packs a mean punch. He's hungry. And he's won all 5 of his fights by stoppages as well. So that was going to be my prospect. Again, I think there's a lot of people in the boxing world that don't know a lot about this kid, but trust me when I tell you, he's going to be a major, major problem. People are saying, including Bob Santos, who's super excited about him in conversations that I had. He thinks he's going to be the first Cuban heavyweight champion. I don't know. Has there been a Cuban heavyweight champion?
Yeah.
You have had one?
Or he was an interim. King Khan.
Ah, right. So
I
King
think
Kong.
Luis Ortiz. I have to. He might have been an interim champion.
Yeah, I don't know if he was a world champion.
Yeah, he was an interim. I think just interim. I think he had an interim, but Wilder ended up beating him 2 times, and it's pretty much downhill there from him. But he was nice, man. He was the last Cuban heavyweight that to me was he was like that. Was King Kong, Luis Ortiz.
Yeah, no doubt. But man, this like I said, this kid is young. He moves, he can punch, and he's got dog in him, man. So
You
my
know,
man Yandu said I'd say prospect depends on both title, the amount of fights. I mean, again, you know, everybody's gonna see it a little bit differently.
subjective. I'm telling you, it's
Mhm.
subjective. It's just like the pound for pound list, Johnny. You know, you're gonna ask 10 people, 10 people gonna give you 10 different answers. So it's tough, man. Like I said, some fighters are just more ready than others, and some just takes a little more time to groom. That's all it is.
Yeah, Yandu has also seen Perro live at the Caribbean. Very fast hands and some power. I tell you, man, he's very, very impressive, and he's got his head screwed on right. Manuel LG, you brought up a great one because that was another guy that I was going to call out. Moses.
Yeah.
I don't want to chop his
I-
last name up.
I-
Atuma,
Itama.
Itama, right? 11-0, 9 knockouts. He's had 4 fights this year, all 4 by stoppages. Either one of those guys, man.
Yeah.
Either one of those
And
guys. Excellent
he
call out.
speak. He's bro. He's nasty, man. I saw him at the. He just fought on the Usyk Fury card. He won by stoppage, Moses, and there's another one, Uzbekistan heavyweight. He's like 14-0, 14 knockouts. Alolov. Damn, I got the name. I just it's not registering, but he's another one. So I mean, there's a lot. Listen, yesterday on our show we had Keith Cologne. I think Keith Cologne by the WBB recognize him as their prospect of the year. That was 3-0, 3 knockouts. So, you know, if he has a big year this coming year, he might be recognized by a lot of people in the boxing world as prospect of the year. So, it's going to be interesting, man. The sport, again, Johnny, doesn't lack any of that, man. We have it. The sport has it. We just got to continue to put them out there and keep them active.
Absolutely, absolutely. And shout out to Keith Cologne Tusami, right? He's 3-0 with 3 knockouts. Um,
Correct.
Another good young talent. Hopefully, we'll get him on the Hangout Spot one day too. With
Yeah,
a really
yeah, yeah.
now that,
Definitely.
but yeah, man, that was one that I wanted to kind of knock out first because it kind of embodies, that the future, hopefully in 2025, is in good hands with all these young fighters. But let's move on. Let's move on to Trainer of the Year. And I'll let you do this one. I think we're probably both going to agree on this one. But who do you have as Trainer of the Year?
So I have Robert Garcia, right? And the reason I have it, right? And I could be slightly biased here, but I'm going on based on two things. I mean, he has like 1,000 fighters. And the guy, his man, his stable is ridiculous. When you watch ESPN Plus, before the main cards on ESPN, if there's 8 fights, 5 fighters are trained by Robert Garcia. But look, man, Bam Rodriguez, WBC junior bantamweight titleist, 2-0 this season. He stopped future Hall of Famer Juan Estrada, El Gallo, aka El Gallo, and stopped him. I mean, oh my goodness. I mean, Bam is he's just ferocious, man.
Next
He is.
level, man. Next
I
level.
said it. He is arguably the best offensive fighter in all of boxing. I mean, watch this guy on his attack, man. I don't think there's really, me personally, there's no fighter that could really match him offensively. Again, is my opinion, but he's up there with any of your fighters. When we just talking about offense, I'm not talking about fighter. So again, 2-0. He was the one that stole the show in Philly when Boots had the rematch with Kukajan a couple of months ago. And then, of course, I think this fight right here, Johnny, is what really stamped him. A fight that you picked correct. And we were looking at anybody that was picking this fighter like, I don't know, El Rayo. Jose Venezuela ends up beating Pitbull Cruz in wow, what a I mean, just what a performance, man. That was a boxing lesson, man. He takes his belt from Pitbull, a fight I gave him no shot. You know that. We was on lives, we was everywhere. You said, nah, man, I'm going with Rayo. I'm like, okay. And you got it right, man. I got to give you your flowers on that. And I just think, and it's not who they are, Johnny, is how they look in these performances. I'm talking about Bam. I'm talking about Rayo. So, just to me, man, just based on that, I just got to go with Robert Garcia, man.
I agree. I agree. And that Rayo one, that's one of the very few that I did get right last year because I got a lot wrong. But I don't know. There was just something I felt about the styles that would be different. And the funny thing about that was he used to be trained by Jose Benavidez Sr. And
Yes.
he decided it was mutual at the time. I had a conversation with Jose Sr. I've interviewed him on the channel. If you guys haven't seen it, make sure you check it out at the Hangout Spot. But he said that it was a mutual thing for him to go and train with Robert. He thought it was the best thing for him in his career. He had no problem with that. So he stood as his manager while Robert was training him for that fight. And he gave nothing but props to Robert for that performance, man. I love Jose, but who knows if he would have won that fight in that fashion if he wasn't trained by Robert
Fact.
Garcia. So that performance alone, when I thought about trainers, kind of sealed it for me. Like I was like, nah, after that, what he did in a limited amount of time, even though they were training, I heard they were training earlier in his career. And then he moved to Jose Sr. and then he went back. I thought that sealed it for me because that was masterful. But you're right, man. I mean, who doesn't Robert Garcia, train? He's got a stable of young fighters. So I don't know. I don't even think it was even close here. I try to think of an honorable mention, but again, with the whole consistency, they're going to lose fights. I mean, trainers are going to have fighters that lose fights, but I can't remember a really significant loss by a Robert Garcia fighter in a big fight as compared to some of these other traders. So Robert's my choice as well, man.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. And speaking of which, hold on. For those that didn't know, let them know the news you broke to Benavides Senior live regarding Jose Venezuela.
that's crazy, man. We were at Pro Box, man, and Jose Senior was training Omar Salcido, who actually beat Chris Colbert that night. He's going to be
Yeah.
fighting, I
He,
believe,
he
this
got a
month.
fight. He got a good fight coming up.
Yeah, he's fighting. Damn, who's Salcido fighting? He's fighting.
He's fighting a good fight. We were speaking about that yesterday, man. I forgot as well.
God, it's like right at
Yeah.
the top. Andy Cruz. Andy Cruz. He's fighting
And
Andy.
Cruz.
He's fighting
Yeah.
Andy Cruz. So shout out to Omar Salcido, another good guy in the Jose Senior stable. But anyway, long story short, I get a text message that says that Jose Valenzuela was cutting ties with Jose Senior as his manager, his trainer, like just cutting ties with him. So of course, this was during the main event fight that he was in the corner of Salcido for. So after the fight, they're celebrating. They come into the locker room, and I'm like Jose Senior, coach. I was like, we got to talk, man. We got to put the camera on. We got to talk. What's going on with you and Rayo? And he's like, what are you
Uh-huh.
talking about? And I'm like, oh, you didn't hear? I said, supposedly he's cutting ties. Like, I'm like, yo, he's firing you on Twitter. And
Damn.
he's like, so I showed him the tweet and I said, is this his Twitter? And he said, yeah. He read it. And he looked at me like, I don't know anything about that. So that was kind of weird, man. That was weird. Jose took that. He didn't even want to put the camera on and allow us to talk about it. Because he had to let it process. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
yeah. Respectfully, that was respectfully, yeah.
not only was he his coach, but he considered him one of his sons.
Yeah, like
You
a
know,
son, man. They were real close. I get it, man. It's a harsh business, man. It's a harsh business.
absolutely, absolutely. And this next award is going to tell us how harsh it is. We got knockout of the year. This one was tough. This one was tough because there was a lot of great knockouts this year. I actually
Yeah,
have a couple that I want to call out,
yeah.
but I'm interesting to
So,
hear which one was yours.
yeah, I get right to the meat and potatoes here. Angelo Leo over El Venado. Man, listen.
I knew you were going to say that for
It,
some reason.
it's not, it's again, it wasn't that, not only that the KO was ugly, I like to go a little more deep. El Venado was on a killing streak, Johnny. He was night quilling everybody. Bang, bang, that style, hands at the hips, boom, bang, world champion. He's
He
defending
was
his title.
considered the boogeyman, like the boogeyman in that
Yeah,
division at that time
yeah.
going into.
Bro, at 126 at featherweight. And man, Angelo Leo, man, a fighter that came out of pro box, made
Shout
his
out
way,
to
got some wins, got the title shot. And when you're talking about, man, he made it count. He made it count, man. I mean, El Venado's head bounced off that canvas, bro, like a basketball. And it was like, wow. But again, it also shows that, Johnny, in this sport, especially boxing, when you lack fundamentals, it will eventually come back to bite you. And that's what exactly happened to El Venado in that fight, man. So, look, without a doubt, world title fight, no one giving Leo much of a chance. And he silenced the haters, man, not only with a stoppage, but a vicious stoppage. And to get something on top of that, a world title.
that.
Beautiful, beautiful knockout, man.
That's a good point. That one was right there for me. That one was right there, and because of the reasons that you said. But there's one that I picked, and again, a lot of it has to do with the energy in the building that day. I was actually there for this knockout. This was in Tampa. It was on the Jake Paul Mike
Oh,
Perry uh,
yes,
main event card.
yes, yes.
Lucas Prince body viciously knocks out Ashton H2O Sill with a three-piece Maniac. I mean, there was like three
Yeah,
or
yeah,
four.
no, no.
Like one of the punches landed when Ashton was out and he was falling face first to the ground.
I mean, listen, it's hard to argue, man. Yeah, listen, that's a great one.
And Maniac, again, let's call it what it is, man. He was getting cooked. He was losing. He was
No,
losing the
he
fight.
was getting cooked.
H2O
He
was
was
cooking
losing.
him,
No, he wasn't going.
outboxing him.
That was the only way. He had to hit a home run in the bottom of the ninth, man.
This is what makes boxing so spectacular because you never know, right? And it got to the point where it was like the crowd was quiet. Like, all right, what round is this? Let's get this over with. It's gonna be an easy unanimous decision, and then crack, 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 and the crowd went absolutely berserk, man. So, and I just interviewed him recently, and the crazy part about it was after that fight, I was in the post fight press conference, and I asked him a question. I said, "Do you think that this knockout at this point in the in the year, because this was in July, right, with the rest of the year to go, will be knockout of the year?" He didn't even let me finish. He was like, "Absolutely, hell yeah, nothing's gonna beat that," And that was my knockout of the year. Angelo Leo against Venado. That was another one. And then one of them that I do want to call out, which I thought was spectacular as well, which was Brian Norman Jr.'s knockout against Santillan. Giovanni
Yeah,
Santillan, he broke him
yeah,
down and he just landed that vicious uppercut, and then he went down and he did that whole pose in front of him.
yeah.
That was pretty crazy.
No,
Crazy.
that was a hell of a performance by Brian Norman Jr., man.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
and shout the what's my man right here, Yandu. That's what I was gonna also say. Honorable mention was the ball over AJ again. What was at stake, right? AJ, he's hot. The bar's hot, but AJ's still the favorite. They fighting for a vacant title. There was a lot at stake, and man, the bar he fried AJ. Wow. And
Mhm.
again, a fight I got wrong. I picked AJ to win that fight.
I did
But
too.
I knew I always, when it comes to heavyweight, I never rule out whoever I pick against, never rule them out of winning the fight because it's heavyweight, any given time, any given moment in them fights, Johnny, night, night. So that's
VIP
what
Nick
happened.
City. Shout out to you, brother. Thanks for rocking out with us, Dubar, KO, AJ. I mean, none of these can go
Oh,
wrong.
Vic, my
Look at
man
this from
Vic.
my man Manuel LG, man. We cooking right now. Alan Garcia, when he got KO'd, that was crazy.
Yeah.
That was
Listen, it's a lot, man. It's true. These are great ones, man. We can't. I can't even argue that, man. That's
mm-mm,
it's a lot of good ones, man. And again, a lot of them, like I said, John, it's a subjective sport.
mm.
Boxing is a subjective sport. So but those are good ones, man. But more importantly, that all these fighters are well after those knockouts, because we do understand that this is a vicious sport, is a barbaric sport. And this is our sport here is the only sport that we get multiple deaths a year because of, combat in the ring. And, just to see these guys get up and be well, it's a blessing to see, man, because these guys do literally put their life on the line when they in that ring.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Again, this is the deal. This is why I don't call fighters bums. No fighter is a
No,
bum. If
no,
you are
absolutely.
man enough to lace up a pair of gloves and get in the ring against another man and risk your life for our entertainment, because we're actually, great knockouts. But you're right, man. I mean, these guys could die in the ring doing what they're doing. So shout out to you, Maniac, for bringing that up. And again, I'm here with the Boxing Maniac, my brother from Four Corners Boxing and the Boxing Roundtable as well here, and we're doing it up. But the chat right now is cooking. DJ A Beats, yeah, mad props. Yo, thanks for rocking out with us, brother.
Yes,
This is how we
sir.
do it up, man. Nothing but big and better things in 2025. So keep the ball rolling and make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to
Yeah,
the Hangout
yeah.
Spot if you have not subscribed yet. Keep this chat going because right now we're gonna go to fight of the year. And
Woo.
before I turn it over to you and let you go first, this was a little hard for me because there weren't, like, I wanted a lot to choose from. like the knockouts, I could have probably picked a top 10 list of knockouts. But man, I mean, like trying to figure out the fight of the year, I was like, man, which one? It was a couple. And I'm gonna let you know which one I picked. And
Yeah.
people might think I'm crazy for it, but go ahead. I'm gonna let you pick fight of the year.
All right. So I'm gonna be honest. This one is gonna be more of a bias thing for me, right? and I know people are gonna say what, but it's just for me again. I'm going Devin Haney. Of course, Garcia, man. Haney Garcia.
Wow.
Because I was in the building, the electricity. Again, another fight I got wrong.
I think the majority
I'm
of them
cooking
got it wrong,
myself
bro.
here. I'm just
Bro,
cooking myself on
nah,
here.
this is how we do, man. I got
Yeah. You know,
I was
listen,
even
man.
close
We
2
keep
weeks.
it a stack here.
I
We
was
ain't here. We don't tiptoe around nothing, man. We keep it a stack.
You already
So
know.
listen, man. Look, Garcia, you doing?
Nah,
Yes, sir. He definitely is, man. He definitely is. So Garcia, man, Garcia Haney. So again, Johnny, when I pick something, I just let's add to what was going on, the lead up to the fight, right? Garcia, his mind ain't right. There's something wrong with him, mentally unstable. I'm, I'm, and he still was, because even after the fight, you could see it. But no, I think he's fooling y'all. He comes in, overweight, a couple of pounds overweight. Haney says it's fine. He pays the fine. He says it's not gonna matter. I'm still gonna beat this guy. Fight night comes. Johnny, I'm talking about Brooklyn was shaking, baby. The Barclay was shaking. Oh, yeah. And when he landed that first left in that first round, oh man, that's it. That was the beginning. And it was it was a good scrap. Yes, with Garcia dropping Haney multiple times, should have probably, they probably missed two more knockdowns in that fight. Should have probably been 5 in total, but he was dropped 3 times officially. People are going to say about 5 officially, but anyway, we can only count what was counted. So he was dropped 3 times. And believe it or not, Haney in the middle of that fight, man, he was stealing rounds. He was taking rounds. And it's not your typical bloodbath, blow for blow, action-packed fight of the year. No, it had a different twist to me. This was more chess match, heavy underdog against perhaps Future. He could have been, because this is how Future #1 pound for pound fighter. All the accolades Haney was getting coming into this fight. And, we were talking about, man, we know he gonna beat Garcia. The question is who he's gonna fight next. Tank? Do we get Tank Haney after this? And what Garcia did, in that fight was amazing. Now, buy it. I get it, guys. The Osterine. Look, man, let's call a spade a spade. He cheated. He got caught dirty. I'm not sitting here. I would never condone cheating, man. But guys, the amount he got caught with in the system, Johnny, that's like, look, we drink right here and there. That's like you drinking a White Claw, Johnny. A sip, not even a whole can. Taking a sip of a White Claw, put it down, and a cop comes to you and say, you're intoxicated, sir. You're like, what? I got alcohol in me, but I just took a sip. That it's very similar to the Garcia. But again, people are gonna believe what they want to believe. And who am I to tell people not to believe what they want to believe in? But the truth of the matter is, man, that did not play a factor in that fight. Anyone who knows boxing and that's been watching it closely know that didn't play a factor. But nonetheless, he got popped and he's paying. Listen. He's paying for it. So just like Canelo, Mosley, Roy Jones, I mean, I could go down the list, bro. So, It is what it is. Hopefully, he never does it again. But that's
No.
my fight of the year, man. Haney Garcia. Wow. I'm just happy I was there live for it.
So a couple things before we get to my pick. The whole Oscarine thing, man, that could be a whole different conversation for another show because people are going to have their opinions on it. And again, at the end of the day, I side with you. I don't think that amount realistically played played a part in what we saw unfold in the ring. But again, I'm not a scientist. I don't know. I don't pretend to be. So I stick to the facts. I mean, he got popped. It's against the rules. He cheated. He got his loss taken or his win taken away, and the other one got the loss taken out of his record. It is what it is. It just ruined to me what was a fantastic fight and an event, right? Because the crazy part about it, Maniac, is you stole mine. I had that one as my fight of the year too, man. And
Oh wow.
I did, and I thought like there's no way Maniac's gonna pick this fight as fight of the year. So I'm gonna pick this one, and it's gonna be for all the reasons you just said.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Maybe
echoing
maybe
what you said.
yeah, maybe if I wasn't there live, maybe I have a different perspective. But just being there and what I was watching, man, because listen, no one, you know who I was right next to? He was literally right behind me. From your team, Johnny, your starting cornerback, Sauce Gardner.
Really? Oh wow. Okay.
He was right there behind me. Two people in his entourage. That's it. In fact, I didn't even know who he was till we was leaving. I'm like, yo, why people want to take pictures with this guy? Duh. Just read his chain, Sauce. I'm like, oh, that's Sauce Gardner. I'm like, yeah, I'd catch 5 touchdowns on him right now if I wanted to.
But yeah, I just remember the feeling of watching that fight afterwards and being like so I was satisfied. I was like, wow, what I just
Yeah.
saw right now, totally I didn't expect. I didn't I didn't pick Ryan to win at all. And I wasn't even mad after that because I thought it was a really good scrap, where I saw something that I wasn't expecting to see. It's almost like watching a movie that everybody craps on. And then when you see it, you're like, oh shit, I like this movie. Or everybody, potentially before it comes out, it isn't getting good reviews. And then when you see it, you're like, wow, you're
Yeah, I
wild.
love it.
But I do have another one. So since you picked that one, I'm gonna pivot. I actually have two other ones, man. Like I told you earlier, this was gonna be hard to pick one. I thought Amanda against Katie Taylor 2 was phenomenal. It didn't disappoint, just like the last one. And you got my
Yeah.
man Randu who agrees. Serrano versus Taylor 2, Usyk versus Fury 1. That was a good one, but that wasn't in my top three. I had Serrano against Taylor. Again, back and forth, a fight that I thought Serrano should have won. They gave it to Katie Taylor. It is what it is, at the end of the day, but it was just a good, entertaining back and forth scrap. The only bad part about that scrap, Maniac, besides the decision, was the fact that it wasn't 3-minute rounds. Like, give me 3 minutes, 10 rounds, 3 minutes of these three females. And not only are you going to see a even better fight, but you're probably going to see, you probably would have saw a knockout. Because
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that maybe.
Probably in the first round.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if Serrano had another minute to cook, she could have potentially taken her out. But I don't give, like I said, this isn't to crap on Katie Taylor. She is a great, amazing fighter. I love to watch her as well. There's something about these two when they get into the ring. They put on a great show. They could fight 5 times, and it'd be like Pacquiao and Marquez, in my opinion. And the last one, or the third one that I had was Boyacek against Virgil Ortiz.
Mm.
This fight back and forth. I mean, one of those fights that fight fans will say that took years out of both of those guys, probably, right? Because of the amount of punishment that both of them inflicted on each other. Obviously, they give that fight to Virgil Ortiz. A lot of people debate that fight. A lot of people have Boyacek winning that fight. But again, that's to me what makes the beauty of that type of fight, because it was just so back and forth. So those are my three. But I got to confess, I did have Ryan against Devin as my number one. I just had a pivot since the Maniac stole that one. But yo, good stuff. Good stuff from there, man.
Yeah, no, but the other two you have, man, it's hard to argue. You're talking about two of the greatest women fighters of this generation, hands down, no debating. Is Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor. Shout to both of them. You know, that fight really that shit it zapped the energy out of me, man, because what how they did Amanda in that fight was just dirty, man. But it's boxing and it's a dirty sport, unfortunately. And then Virgil Ortiz, Bohachuk, man, that's without a doubt, man, where a fight where you do get where years could get taken off both fighters, man. But we just saw Bohachuk cook on the Fury Usyk 2 undercard, man. This guy's a machine. And it's funny, Johnny, because he's a Ukrainian fighter that fights Mexican style, right? He wants to come forward. He wants to apply pressure, and he want to shake. He not there. He's not like, Usyk and Lomachenko. Not that these guys could stop you, but they they break you down methodically. That's their style. This dude is just like, man, forget the technique. Let's fight.
No, you're right, man. You're right. Entertaining. Back and forth. Boyacek did bounce back. It'd be interesting to see Virgil Ortiz is now fighting Madrimov in that big Riyadh season card on February 22nd.
Oh,
so I can't wait for that. That's another one that we're going to be treated, that's going to be a treat. And I think that one's like $26.99 or something like that, US dollars and pay-per-view. It's insane. You got 7 fights that could be main event on any card.
Bro.
We're going to get down and grimy with that. Make sure y'all continue to tune in as we get closer. We'll get the Maniac back on, and we're going to break down that fight card in totality on a live show. Salute to you, Eddie Alvarez, in the chat. Thank you for rocking out with us, my brother. You know how we do it up. I'm here with the Boxing Maniac from Four Corners Boxing and the Boxing Roundtable. Last but not least, the big one, baby. Fight of the year. We're going to do male and we're going to do female. Probably not going to be a lot of debates, but I'm going to try to make it interesting. So who do you have as your male fighter of the year?
Yeah. Again, it's a subjective thing, man. But I think the obvious, and I think majority of the boxing world is gonna go with this one, which is fine because it's just hard to argue. Alexander Usyk, man. Listen, you're talking about a fighter, undersized heavyweight. Johnny, these heavyweights in today's age are the size of NBA centers and weigh like NFL defensive ends. You know what I'm saying?
Lineman, man.
Yeah. You understand? So you got offensive linemen with an NBA center height. Usyk is built like a 90s heavyweight. He's 6'3", he's 6'4", he's 220, he's 230. You know what I'm saying? He's not big. This guy became undisputed at cruiserweight. Now, by it, I get it. It's not a division, Johnny, that people really care for. But he beat some good fighters there, some undefeated to get there. Just because you don't watch the division doesn't mean them fighters are not good. You understand? He goes to heavyweight. He's the smaller guy at a disadvantage, and he beats these guys. Then he beats Fury, right? A fighter, Johnny, that I've heard many people with popular podcasts, fighters, future Hall of Famers, future Hall of Famers say that Fury could be arguably the greatest heavyweight of all time. That shit's mind-boggling. Not of a generation, Johnny. I'm talking about all time. Okay. Everyone's entitled to opinion, even if it's ridiculous. But what Usyk did, man, he beat Fury twice. The fighter, like I said, the people were calling him the greatest heavyweight of all time, arguably. They wasn't calling him. They say he can make a claim. And Usyk did that, man. First undisputed heavyweight in the 4-belt era, right? First undisputed since Lennox Lewis. Guys, this shit ain't rocket science, bro. This shit is 1 + 1 right here. It's easy. Usyk, to me, is not only the fighter of the year, he is also the best fighter in the world. To me, #1 pound for pound. So without a doubt, Alexander Usyk, he is my fighter of the year because what he did in one calendar year, he beat Tyson Fury and beat him definitively. Shout to him.
Hard to argue, Maniac. Again, you nail it. If you ask 100 people, I'm sure 95 are going to say Usyk. So I was trying really hard to think of somebody else that can make, that I can make a good argument for. I looked at Dubois. He had a good year. I thought I would have picked Dubois if he would have beat Big Baby Miller in 24. I thought it was in 24. It was the end of 23. So right at the end, like close to Christmas time, but still technically it was 2023. If I looked at the dates, if he would have did it in 2024 and beaten, went 3-0 against Big Baby Miller, Herkovich was the other guy that he beat who was undefeated at the time, Philip Herkovich.
Yeah. I picked him.
And then he slept AJ in a fight that many people, including myself, thought that AJ would cruise through, especially after that knockout against Ngannou. So I would have picked Dubois. But then I saw 2-0 against that 2-0. It was hard. So I think I'll go with Usyk. But one guy I do want to mention, and a lot of it has to do with we don't show a lot of these fighters at a lower weight class. We don't show them a lot of love, man. Like, why?
No.
Maniac, right? Like,
I do.
What are the fans called that don't show fighters or don't watch the lower weight classes?
So you know what I call them? Hardcore casuals. You're a hardcore casual. If you're gonna sit up in here tell me you a boxing fan, but I don't watch the smaller weight, then homie, you're a hardcore casual. You're a hardcore, but you're still a casual in the same sense, because how you gonna call yourself that and you're not watching these young gunners down there in these lower weight classes? These guys in fact, most of them got more skills than the fighters we like at these weight classes.
Absolutely, Maniac. And for people to not consider Oscar Collazo as one of the best fighters this year is insane to me.
Body.
Bro, not just that, bro. So that was the one that I said, you know what? That's going to be my pick. I'm sure a lot of people would disagree because there's only a lot of people that probably don't know him. But we're talking, and you know what's funny, Maniac? I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't even know what weight class he fights in.
Correct.
Minimum weight, right?
105. That's 105.
I haven't weighed 105 since I was in the third grade, probably. So you got to do 11 fights, and he's already a unified champion at that division. He had 3 fights this year. He won 2 of them by stoppage. The other one, and then his last performance was an amazing performance on, I believe it was Latino night.
Correct.
Season.
The Riyadh season Latino headlined by Gilberto Ramirez.
And he absolutely cooked and
won. Unified. Now he's a unified champ.
At 11 fights. So again, I was talking about a guy like Lomachenko, right? Who had with minimal amount of fights. These guys with like 10, 11 fights, they're getting title shots based on the skill level, right? Based on the skill level. So that was the one that I picked. Well, obviously Usyk would be the number 1 pick, but Oscar Collazo, man, I think I'm going to say he's my fighter of the year.
Wow. You know what, Johnny? Thank you. Because I'll be honest, I forgot, Collazo, Golden Boy's been keeping him active and he loves it. And you see, man, this guy is only getting better by fight. The guy could box and he could punch. He's your typical Puerto Rican boxer puncher. The only thing is he's not at 147. He's not at 140, where a lot of Puerto Ricans made, a lot of their names. Some at 126, of course. You had Bazooka, Wilfredo Gomez. But yeah, man, wow. That's a great pick, actually, man. And he makes a claim. But the problem is, like you said, since people don't know who he is, I'm like, who are you talking about? But it's okay. You got YouTube, right? What they say YouTube is, Johnny, the closest thing we got to a time machine. So get on YouTube, get in the time machine, and go watch his fights so you can see what my brother Johnny was saying, man. But you know who I thought you were going to say? I'm not going to even lie, was the monster in a way. And that he's active, right? Because he's always active. I like that. He fights about 3 times a year. He was supposed to fight New Year's Eve. But unfortunately, Sam Goodman did suffer an injury. The fight got postponed to this month, actually the 24th. So in 22 days, so about, in 3 weeks, they'll be fighting. So, he could have been an honorable mention, especially if that fight would have went through on the 31st. But like I said, man, I think Collazo is a great pick. But I just think that even now that you put it in the light and now I could really look like, oh shit, he's right. I just think just being Fury who he is, which he's going to be a future Hall of Famer, and Usyk being so at a disadvantage, height, weight, just about everything, and still win. It's hard to argue that, But listen, I'm not mad at your pick at all, man. In fact, I like it.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And just like the Maniac said, if you have not seen Collazo fight, get on YouTube, watch his fights. Very, very entertaining. And while you're there, make sure you check out the Hangout Spot and the Boxing Maniac as well on YouTube. Another guy who I did think about, Eddie Alvarez, you nailed it, man. I thought about Bam. I thought about Bam too. That was another honorable mention. I guess I was looking at the amount of fights too. Like if Inoue would have fought this year and cooked Goodman, like we all think is probably going to happen, he might have been my pick. But Collazo fought 3 times, and again, what he accomplished at that weight and the minimum amount of fights, I mean, that was why I'm picking him. But you're right, Usyk. I mean, who's going to argue with that, man? I mean, and I do agree that right now he's probably the best fighter in the world, pound for pound, hands down. Eddie Alvarez, my favorite prospect is Albert Chop Chop Gonzalez.
Yeah. I like Chop Chop. Chop. He's tough. Tough.
There's a couple of Chop Chops because my guy Alexis Chop Chop Chaparro, man, he's legit too, man. He's from Ridgewood, Queens. He's legit. He is
Johnny. What's the Puerto Rican kid's name from MVP?
John Paul.
John Paul.
A beast. I'm telling you,
man.
There's
a lot of talent. We said it. We don't lack that in boxing as long as these promotional companies can keep these guys active, keep them in the kitchen, keep that oven on, keep them heaters on. Because listen, man, we need more of this, man. Because a lot of these guys have superstar potential.
Absolutely. You know what I hate? When boxing fans say he's too young for that challenge. Dude, if he's calling out the big boys, if a fighter has 10 fights, 12 fights, and he believes in his skill set, he's calling out the big dogs, let him go after it, man. Why not? Why are we trying to build fighters' resumes? And I mean, shout out to Keyshawn Davis. I mean, he's calling out Tank. He's fighting for a time. Shout out to Floyd Schofield, for taking that fight against Shakur Stevenson on the 22nd. Floyd Schofield he's arguably a very, very exciting young fighter, great guy. Even Oscar De La Hoya didn't want to put him in there, but he wants that smoke. Like if it was up to Oscar De La Hoya, he wouldn't be fighting Shakur Stevenson next. I know that. No. But he wants that smoke. So shout out to these young dudes, man, that aren't afraid to be great and they're willing to put that O on the line early, man.
I love it. I'm glad you brought that up, Johnny, because this fight I'm about to bring up, I've been very critical of him. He goes by the name of Xander Zayas, right? Now, we've seen him. He called out Virgil Ortiz. And just like you said, the consensus was like, oh, this boy is crazy. He trying to crash out. He come on. Or I don't listen. If that's why he want, put him in there. Like you said. So I don't want to keep going to the Garden, the theater, the Garden Theater, and see my man Xander, which I'm a fan of, fighting these European fighters. I get it. He beat Patrick Teixeira, former champion, but the guy was already finito. It's almost time to take the leash off for him. You gotta take him out the crib, Johnny. Like you said, it's time to walk. It's time to walk. Quítalo pampe ya. Take off the pampers, potty train. I say you're a big boy now. So I want to see Xander this year. Well, he's gonna fight on the Keyshawn card against some guy from Germany. But after that, I want to see him and Lubin, Johnny. Him and Lubin. Give me Xander and Lubin, bro. I would love to see that fight.
That's a good call, man. And there's a lot of good fights that I want to see Xander. I interviewed him recently, man, and he's ready. You know, when I asked him when he thought he'd be ready for a title shot, ready to take over that 154-pound division, he didn't even let me finish. When he's like, I think I'm ready now. And then when I saw that he put his name in line for Virgil, I think that mentally he's going to be a major player in that division, man. He's got the skill set. He's only going to get better and better. And I think that better competition is also going to bring out the best, you know, in any fighter who I think, you know, has a special skill set. And I like him a lot. I'm big on Xander. You know that, you know, we've had conversations about that. But listen, I think the sky's the limit for him and the future is bright. I thought that it would be fitting to add one more in there. So I got another one that you didn't know that was coming. This is extra credit right here. This is just which you kind of eased into with the whole Xander and Lubin thing. But name me one or possibly two fights that you want to see made in 2025.
Wow. All right. I'm going to give you one.
Give me two.
No, I'm going to give you one.
I have like 10, but I cut
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Right now, one, I would love to see Tank and Tio at 140, man. I would love to see Tank and Tio at 140. I think it's due. You know, I mean, I think it'll be a major fight. Financially, everything. It's a blockbuster, bro. That's a blockbuster fight to be made. Inside the ring and outside the ring, it is going to be action. We know that, right? And a second fight, man. That listen. Some people gonna call me crazy. Give me Jermell Charlo versus Bud Crawford. I won't put that.
So you want that they were on a collision course, right? You know, with that whole beef, obviously, with them talking. So you want that fight now? Okay, that's interesting.
Give me technically. I mean, to me, he's still the undisputed champion. You know, because them belts, he just relinquished them. Ain't nobody take them from him. So, and he's still in that division. He just sent a message on social media. He's calling. He wants smoke. He a fireman. He applied to be a fireman, Johnny. Because firemen, when there's smoke, what they do, Johnny, they go to the smoke, right? That's a fireman's job. Absolutely. So he a fireman, man. He want that smoke. He want that. So give me Crawford, give me Mel, because without a doubt, they were on the collision course, and it's a big fight, and it's history behind it, and it'll be action packed, and there's no guarantee Crawford will win that fight.
All right, I like it. That one was shocking. I thought that you were going to pick something else. Shout out to my brother, Prestige Sports Network, my TBB brother. Thank you for rocking out with me, my brother. So I didn't want to be obvious with mine and, you know, Canelo Benavidez. I mean, we all know we want to see that. Probably ain't going to happen. Tank Shakur, with the whole deal with Tank retiring, I don't know. I kind of stood away from Tank. I know you picked Tank and Tio. That's another fight I would love to see, by the way. Tank and Tio. I just don't think they'll happen. So I wanted to play more realistic, right? Guys that I think could make these fights happen that I want to see in 25. One of them is Brian Norman Jr. against Boots. Fight that I want to see. It got close to being made last year. You know, I am very familiar with the Norman camp and father and junior. And shout out to Brian Sr., coach. I had him on a couple weeks ago. He's my guy. Brian Jr. is my guy. So they want that fight. I want that fight. So that's one that I want to see in 2025 that I think could be made, man. If Brian Jr. takes care of business against Derek Cuevas in March, which I have no doubt that he will, because, you know, that's my dude and I'm rocking with him, I think that it could happen. It all depends on what they have in store for Boots. There's a lot of rumors about people he's going to fight next. We haven't seen anything put on paper. And then one more that I would like to see that I think can happen. If Benavidez beats Morrell, I'd like to see him fight Better Beef. Or the winner.
I'm sorry, the winner. Because the rematch is coming. We don't know. But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I think that's already on the table. I think they already got that in the oven. They got it on low. They got it on very low heat, but they already said that they want to match um Benavidez with the winner of Bivol on Better Beef next. If of course, if he's able to get past Morel, which I think most of us are gonna pick Benavidez to win that fight.
Well, we're going to break that one down as it gets closer.
Yes.
Fight's obviously going to be on February 1st. In fact, as it gets closer, it's like right around the corner.
Yeah, bro. And it'll be here like this.
Corner. So yeah, more than likely the next week or the week after that on one of the live shows, we'll break that one down. I think that's going to be a tremendous fight. Me and Cesar Serra from Boxeo Urbano Network, we broke that down a little bit a few weeks ago. He's very, very close to both camps. So you know, I have a big time interest in that fight. Yandu says Tank versus Haney, Berlanga versus Plant. That's another one I want to
Yes.
see. I want to see
Berlanga versus
That's
Plant.
actually
Yes,
a
yes.
really good one. I don't think we see that next. I think Berlanga is going to be fighting in March in Puerto Rico. I don't think it's going to be against anybody tough. But
Yeah.
the next fight after that could be against Plank. Loma against Tank. We could have saw that this year. It was on, it was on the schedule, and Loma backed out or whatever that was. I don't know if we ever see that anymore. I don't know if Loma's coming back.
No. Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, I would like to see it, but I don't think Lomo said, listen, man, y'all gotta fight each other. I've done for all of y'all. But listen, if it happened, I would love to see it.
Taylor versus Cameron 3. Okay, that
Three.
was
Yeah, Chantel, Cameron Taylor, they 1-1. You
yeah,
know,
that's actually a good
with
one. I didn't think about
Katie Taylor winning the last fight, she got the get back. So yeah, you're right, man. Let them run it, man. Let them run it back. I'm okay with that because those were two fucking hell of fights, man. They come to bring it.
No, shout out to the females, man. They bring it. The
Yeah.
undisputed females, man. You got Crawford versus Boots. I wouldn't mind seeing it. I don't think Crawford has any interest in that fight. I think Crawford wants the Canelo fight or no fight. And
Yeah.
ultimately, I think we probably get that. I mean, if this is something that I brought up on one of my shows a couple of weeks ago, if you would have asked me 2 years ago if that fight would have really had any chance of happening when Crawford was first talking about it, I would be like, hell no. I was like, he's got to move up 2 weight classes. For Canelo, that's more of a no-win situation. If he beats him, they're going to say beat a smaller guy. If he loses, but now with Turkey Al-Sheikh being involved, we talked about Turkey Al-Sheikh throwing that money around. That can happen. I think that fight does happen actually in 2025, which is shocking. I would have never thought that at this time last year. I would have told somebody no, definitely that fight don't happen.
Yeah.
And then Nicholson versus Serrano.
And you know, Yandu is funny. Nicholson Serrano, because that's gonna lead me to my female fight of the year.
Oh, my bad. I almost forgot the female fighter. Shout out to you. And I know that Yandu also commented on that. Who do you have as your female fighter?
So for me, I have Sky Nicholson. So you know, Sky Nicholson, 3-0 this year. 3 fights. She's the current WBC champion at 126 featherweight, same division as Amanda Serrano, who currently holds 2 of the 4 major titles. And I mean, these were 3 dominant performances by Scott Nicholson. And you know, she's been very vocal about her fighting Amanda, man. So, you know, shout to Yandu with that one, man, because he's not a hardcore casual, I see.
Nah,
You
man,
understand?
we actually met him. We actually met at
Yeah.
the last at the WBC convention on the 13th. That last MVP card, he was actually there. We
Yeah.
took a picture.
But yeah, that's my female fight of the year, Johnny. And that's Eddie Hearn's bull.
So
you know that's the rumor.
Yes,
that he's smashing.
And Oscar De La Hoya blew that up on one of his clapback Thursdays. Shout out to
Oscar, yo, he dirty in a clean way.
It's almost like I look forward, like I got the notifications on Maniac where he drops those, man, because they're hilarious. So
yeah. Nah, Oscar, those are fun.
Yandu put up another one that now gets my pick. So I got Gabriela Fundora,
Sweet Poison.
I got her as my female fighter of the year, man. I
Good
mean,
pick. Undisputed.
Undisputed. I think she's a freak. Another tall fighter like
her brother, just like her brother, man.
They like to fight though. That's the crazy part. They don't even have to fight. Yeah, absolutely, man. No, you're not a hardcore. Nah, he's not. Eddie, yo, I'm with you, man. I got Fundora as my female fighter as well. She's 15-0, 7 knockouts. And, I just love fighters that after they fight, I'm like, damn, I can't wait till they fight again. Like, when are they going to fight again? You know what I'm saying? So she's got that it factor, action pack, what she did with unifying the flyweight, I think the flyweight division, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Little, is it the flyweight or the? I gotta remember. It's definitely the lower weight class though.
Yeah. IBF,
But she's
WBA.
undisputed. She's undisputed.
She's got all the straps, man. She's got all the straps. You can't go
She
wrong
got
with
more belts than Saks Fifth. You heard?
That's how the females, right? We call them the undisputed females, man, because they're not afraid to go on there and put their belts on the line and unify, right?
And they're not, Johnny. And on top of that, right? They giving us good fights when they in there. Like they getting shaken.
They never
You know?
ever disappoint, man. They want that smoke, man. Hopefully we see a little bit more
Yeah.
Clarissa. We see Fran Chon. That's my
Yeah,
girl.
yeah.
Trying to get back
Yeah,
into
Frank
the
Chong.
she wants another fight. She wants another fight with Clarissa. So I'm hoping to get her. So for my viewers, I'm hoping to get her on the show in the next couple weeks, so we could chop it up and talk about her future. But she's got a lot of things going on. She's dope. She's dope. So I can't wait to see her in the ring. But shout out to the females, man, for doing it up. Maniac, I think the females not only had a great 2024, they had a great 3 or 4 year run, man. The
Oh,
females been
easily. Yeah, no, Johnny, listen. Not only shit, bro. I mean that it's been the best 3-4 year run in women's boxing history. Remember, guys, let's go back to the essence of women's boxing. It was pretty much put there for a freak show, just to take up slot time for these cards. They just put two women fighting. Let's just see what happens. And look what is evolved into. Now we take these women serious. Now we're fans of them. Now we want to see them fight. When are they going to fight again? Because these ladies got skill. These ladies could fight. These ladies got heart. And bro, you know what more do you want? The only
Maniac,
thing I asked for.
They're headlining
Yes.
the big room at the Garden, bro.
Look at that. Balanga hasn't done that. Balanga hasn't done that. But you know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm just keeping it real. And I want to say that when it comes to these female fighters, man, listen, show these ladies love, man. Cause they doing it. The only thing I asked for, I wish there was more 3-minute, 12 rounds. 3-minute rounds, 12 rounds. Instead of the 2 and 10. To me, I would like either or, Johnny. All right. If we're going to do 10 rounds, then we're doing 3 minutes a round. If we're going to do 2 minutes, then we're doing 12 rounds. I just think, or you're just going to do both. I think it should be one or the other, man, because I think these women are too talented now, too skilled that they don't have enough time to really, like, you gotta, especially you're a fighter, a technician, where you taking your time, and you just get hit with 2 jabs quick, bang, bang. Like, oh shit, now I'm in a rush because this round about to be over soon. So if to me, again, shout to Amanda Serrano for always trying to be an innovator, to try to push the sport for females and do it the right way, man. Because if they even want that more respect and women want those bigger paydays, similar to what the males get, Johnny, you got to give us 3 minutes, man, 12 rounds, because then it's like, okay, we're going to see more action. So that's my only knock when it comes to the females. But besides that, the Maniac love the ladies.
Shout out to you, my brother. I couldn't have said it better myself. Superwoman 607, that's my sister right there. Give it up for the females, man. Absolutely. Best during the Tyson event. Saran, I'm telling you, man. Not only are they doing it up at the Tyson events, but they getting paid. Jake Paul.
What's my other homegirl from Jersey that fought on that card? She's what MVP.
Oh man, yeah, I
From
forget.
Jersey, Patterson. She's from Patterson. Shit, I forget her name.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
she fought Franchon. I think they fought.
I think
Damn, I
so.
forgot her
John,
name.
well, man. But I tell you one thing though, I've had conversations with a few female fighters at live events. To your point, they want to get down. Like I don't know if I've ever asked one of them how they feel about fighting in 3-minute rounds, and they say no. Should they want to get down? They want to get down. You talking about Shadeja Green, my man?
Yeah,
Y'all,
it's Deja Green. There you
always
go.
coming through, man. Like couple of weeks ago when I had Claudia Trejos, we got jammed up on a woman question as well, and Yandu bailed us out, man. So shout
Yeah,
out to you,
yeah.
guys, my man.
Deja Green.
Yeah,
There you
Shadeja
go,
Green,
man.
man. That's right, man. She's doing it up with most valuable promotions. I say in 2 to 4 years we'll see 12-3. Hopefully, man. Hopefully.
Yeah,
But I'm on board with the Maniac. At least give us 10 rounds of 3-minute,
yeah,
3-minute 10 rounds at least, in the very least. But we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. Again, a lot of this had to do with 2024, but Maniac, you know the deal. We're looking forward to an even better uh 2025. This was absolutely amazing, this show, man. Your
yeah.
breakdown. Appreciate you coming on. Let all my viewers know where they can find the Boxing Maniac on social media.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. If you're not following me, man, make sure you go check me out, Mr. Man, oh man, Mr. Let's Talk About It.
Mm.
The underscore boxing underscore maniac, man. Only on Instagram and Facebook right now. Twitter, I've been in jail for years. So I'm not on Twitter anymore, man. Yeah, man, just follow me, man. I follow you back. I talk boxing. That's what I do, football, whatever, man, whatever you want to do, but mainly boxing, my team, Four Corners Boxing. We a brand, man. We got clothing, we got podcasts. We at all the events, man, putting in work, and also the boxing roundtable, man, with the Dominican Dream. So, man, yeah, just tune in, man. Show support, because support is free.
You nailed it, brother. You nailed it. Shout out to you, man. Like I said, you my brother. You're always
Yeah,
welcome
Johnny, you know that already.
here. I
Listen,
want to have you jump on
let
regularly so we can break down fights.
yeah,
Yeah,
just when I visit you in Florida, man, I need that roco gandule, that maduro, that salada de papa. You already know how we do body style, baby.
absolutely. And I got your chair right here, man. We'll do a live show from here, man. It'll be dope.
Yeah,
But, yeah,
just know that don't expect me to be up at this time over there. I'm gonna be on your couch, like you
yeah,
know.
I know. I know. You're making an exception for me. I'm a late guy. You're an early guy, man. Usually, for my viewers, usually at this time, if I text him, he won't get back to me till the morning, man. He's
Yeah,
usually.
yeah, 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 yeah. I'm
Listen,
done
I
normally.
appreciate you jumping on, man. I appreciate you jumping on.
Anytime, champ. Nah, come on, man. As soon as you throw the bat signal, I'm there.
You got it, brother.
Come on, Johnny, you cooking, man. Again, everybody in the chat, man, shout to you guys for supporting my brother Johnny, man. He's a good dude. He delivers great content, great breakdowns, man. Sense of humor. My brother got it all, man. Trust me, 2025, my brother's just gonna keep climbing that ladder, man. So, we appreciate the support, man. And that's what it is. And he's gonna continue to bring you dope interviews as well, man. So tune in, man.
Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you, man. So we'll chop it up, man.
All right, no doubt.
Appreciate
I
you,
got y'all with
man.
the clutch. Yeah, man. You like Michael Jordan in his prime. Always. All
All right, my brother.
right. All right.
Take care.
All right. One.
One. So yeah, man, there you have it, man. I mean, the Boxing Maniac, that's my brother. That's how we do it up here. Great show breaking down our 2024 awards. We had some surprises. We had some expected awards, but we also had some good dialogue. Great participation from the chat. So I appreciate all of you guys for rocking out. Yandu, I appreciate you, my sister. Superwoman, I appreciate you as well. My man Hernan with the check-in. Appreciate you, Weedy. Was good, baby. Appreciate you rocking out with us on Thursday nights. This is how we do it up every Tuesdays and Thursday nights. We are going back to a normal cadence now that the holidays are over. So next Tuesday, 9 o'clock, next Thursday, 9 o'clock. You know how we do it up. I mean, we're going to have great guests. We're going to have interviews. If you're not following me on IG. Make sure you follow me on IG at the Hangout Spot, because usually that's where I put all my content, pictures, shorts, announcements of shows and guests that I'm gonna have on board. That's why I put it up on IG. So if you ain't following me on IG, make sure you're following me on IG. And if you haven't hit that like button, I don't know what you're waiting for, man. Let's hit that like button. And if you're watching this on a recording, make sure you also hit that like button. We're trying to get this channel out to boxing fans all over their algorithm, so they know that we rocking out twice a week, man. We trying to grow this channel to the next level in 2025. We made our mark in 24 and 25. We trying to make it. We trying to take this to the next level. So make sure you subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend too. Let them know, hey, listen, man, if you like boxing, you gotta hop on the Hangout Spot. You gotta subscribe, man. This is how we do it up, man. This is how we do it up. So I appreciate everybody rocking out with me. I'm up because of you, Johnny, because I'm usually old people problem. So you're like the Maniac. The Maniac is another dude, man. He goes to sleep at usually 9 o'clock. And we usually chop it up in the morning. But thank you for rocking out with me. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. This is how we do it up. Nothing fake, man. It's all positive energy. And we're going to continue to do this in 2025. I'm excited. Great show. Thanks for rocking out with me. Again, I'll make some announcements during the weekend of what guests we're going to have on Tuesday. But there's a lot going on now. Now that 2025 is here, a lot of boxing on the docket. So there's going to be a lot to talk about. Big fights coming up, potential rumors, so we may even consider doing 3 shows a week. Who knows? But either way, appreciate the love and support. As always, this is your boy Johnny signing out from the Hangout Spot, and I'll talk to everybody next week.